We've all been there. You're lying in bed at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, while your mind runs on a loop. You replay that awkward thing you said in a meeting days ago. You imagine a worst case scenario that hasn't even happened. And no matter how tired you are, the thoughts just keep coming. Psychologist Ethan Kross calls this chatter. We all have an inner voice. In fact, it's our default mental state. We spend up to half of our lives talking to ourselves. That voice helps us think, plan, remember, and imagine the future. So if it's such a useful tool, why does it so often turn against us? Why does it become harsh, critical, and impossible to control? And how do we stop it from quietly sabotaging our lives? To answer that, we first need to understand why the inner voice exists at all. The voice in your head isn't a flaw, it's a superpower. It helps you hold information in working memory, like repeating a phone number so you don't forget it. It acts as an inner coach, helping you reflect on the past, plan your next move, and mentally rehearse what might come next. The problem is speed. Your inner voice can generate the equivalent of thousands of words per minute. And when stress enters the picture, that helpful coach turns into a relentless critic. This is chatter, cyclical, negative self talk that traps your attention. Instead of helping you solve problems, it creates a mental traffic jam. Your brain tries to focus on the task in front of you, but the inner critic hijacks your attention, draining the same mental resources you need to think clearly. The result is simple. You can't focus because your mind is already full. And if chatter goes unchecked, it doesn't just make you feel bad, it causes real damage. First, it hurts performance. Chatter narrows attention and disrupts decision making. It's one of the reasons athletes choke under pressure and otherwise rational people make choices they later regret. Second, it damages relationships. When we're stuck in chatter, we often fall into co rumination, replaying the same problems with friends over and over. Instead of bringing relief, this can push people away, turning stress into a kind of social repellent. And third, it affects the body. Chronic chatter keeps the stress response switched on. Over time, this constant physiological strain can accelerate aging and even influence how our genes are expressed. In Cross's words, it can become a kind of damage at the molecular level. So, how do we deal with it? The goal isn't to silence the inner voice. That's neither realistic nor healthy. The goal is to harness it. One powerful tool is called distanced self talk. When you're spiraling, stop using the word I. Instead, use your own name or the word you. Rather than asking, "Why am I so stressed?" ask, "Why is your name feeling this way?" This tiny shift creates psychological distance. It tricks your brain into treating the problem as if you're advising a friend, which reduces emotional intensity almost immediately. Another tool is mental time travel. Zoom out. Ask yourself how you'll feel about this problem a year from now. Most of the things keeping us awake at night won't even register in 12 months. This creates temporal distance, helping your brain recognize that the current threat is temporary, not permanent. And the third tool is environmental control. When your inner world feels chaotic, creating order in the external world can bring relief. Cleaning your space or organizing your desk restores a sense of control. That external order feeds back into the mind, calming the inner voice. The goal isn't to become someone who never has negative thoughts. That's impossible. Pain and discomfort are signals. They tell us something needs attention or change. But by distancing ourselves, zooming out, and creating order around us, we can turn the inner critic back into what it was meant it to be, an inner coach. If this resonates with you, Ethan Kross's book Chatter goes much deeper into the science behind these ideas. And here's a question to leave you with. What's one thing your inner voice has been nagging you about lately? Try talking to yourself about it from a little distance